Hello, this is Wisdom Library. Today we're going to talk about the real reason you're working all night. It's 11 p.m. While the world sleeps, only your laptop light is on. The thought, do I really have to do this, flashes by. But you can't stop, driven by the fear of, am I the only one falling behind? It's not your fault. You are inside a system meticulously designed to make you feel this way. 8 out of 10 professionals experience burnout, but the real tragedy is not the burnout itself. The real tragedy is that we've been brainwashed to see idleness, the only antidote to escape this system, as a sin. Today, we will peel back the layers of that brainwashing. So who and how did they steal our right to be idle? A century ago, the philosopher Bertrand identified the culprits and exposed their methods. And the chilling fact is, those same methods are used daily in your office, on your social media feed. But before we uncover those secrets, we must first ask, why did Russell make such a dangerous claim? Bertrand Russell, who made this argument, was in fact a British aristocrat who never had to worry about work. However, after experiencing firsthand the horrors of World War I, he was possessed by one giant question. Why has humanity become more miserable when it has become more clever at making things? He witnessed the paradox of a world where laborers were overworked like machines in factories, while the unemployed starved for lack of work. To Russell, the gospel of work was like a dangerous spell that justified all this tragedy and absurdity. So he took up his pen to expose the true meaning of that spell. Now, let us open the door to the first secret. The first secret is that the belief work is sacred was, in fact, the most successful marketing campaign in history. Russell asserts it is a slave morality, imposed on the many for the comfortable idleness of the few. The ruling class and religion of the past packaged diligent labor as the path to heaven or a noble duty. The more diligently you worked, the more the fruits of your labor filled the pockets of those at the top of the pyramid. Modern hustle culture is just the latest version of that clever marketing. Meaningless meetings, performative reports, constantly buzzing work messengers. This is the reason we suffer from fake work. So where can we find the spark for core work that creates real value? Russell says the answer, paradoxically, lies in the empty time we fear most. Now let's explain neuroscientifically what amazing things happen in that empty time in our second secret. The second secret is that the best ideas are made in the brain's hidden factory when you're zoning out. When we do nothing and rest, a special network in our brain called the default mode network activates. This is your own creativity power plant, where past memories, future plans, and seemingly unrelated pieces of information are randomly combined to create new ideas. Bill Gates' annual Think Week, where he disconnects from everything, is an act of intentionally firing up this power plant. In the end, the key is not to work long, but to pierce the core with this insight. A century ago, Russell calculated that thanks to technology, humanity could live in abundance with just 4 hours of core labor a day. How was that conclusion possible? And why are we still working 8-10 hours a day? The third secret reveals why our society so desperately hides the truth of the 4-hour workday. The third secret is that the rulers want you to be too busy to think. What would happen if the masses were given more than 4 hours of free time a day? People would read books, discuss, and begin to think critically about the irrationality of society. This is the greatest threat to them who must maintain the system. So they trap us in a hamster wheel of endless consumption, sensational content, and information overload to fundamentally steal our time to think. Your smartphone is the modern panopticon, the circular prison. Now that you know all these secrets, you can never go back. Here is a 3-level guide to using your weapons to resist this giant system and reclaim your sovereignty. This is not a simple relaxation method, but a strategic combat technique to reclaim your life. The level 1 weapon is a defense skill, setting boundaries. Starting tomorrow, say no, politely but firmly, to the meaningless meetings and unnecessary overtime that drain your energy. Your time is your own. This is the first step of resistance. Level 2 is a stealth skill, intentional void. Schedule your own untouchable, zoning out time in your calendar as your most important appointment. That time, walking for 30 minutes without a phone or staring blankly out a window, is when your real weapon, which the system fears most, is forged. A final level 3 is an offense skill, counterattack with value. Stop proving your worth by hours put in. Say, I solved a core problem for the project today, not, I worked late today. When you produce irreplaceable results, the system cannot treat you lightly, and control over your time will return to you. Today we have acquired the sharp weapon of strategic idleness, but to wield this weapon freely in reality, you must confront the most powerful inner enemy that binds us, the judgment of others. Next time, we will discuss the technique to become completely free from this inner prison through Nietzsche's Übermensch philosophy. If you seek the next step on the journey to true inner sovereignty, please join us with a subscription and a like. This has been Wisdom Library.